The Prime Minister will today outline the government's electric vehicle strategy and a multi-million-dollar investment in charging stations for Australian homes. Beyhad Jafari is the Chief Executive of the Electric Vehicles Council. He's had a squiz at the policy. He joins me now. Beyhad, good morning to you.
Morning. Thanks for having me here.
What do you make of it? So the government is going to work with the private sector to put in tens of thousands of charging stations in Australian homes. It's going to expand the future fuel fund. It argues that'll create 2,600 new jobs. Will this drive the uptake of electric cars, in your view, in Australia?
Yeah, look, we're a pretty smart lot in the electric vehicle sector, and we were smart enough to have pretty low expectations from the federal government, and those have been met. So this is a very good policy if you're looking, if this was, say, a decade ago and you were hoping to address about 5% of the issues related to the electric vehicle sector. It's certainly not one that tries to actually increase the uptake of electric vehicles. Really disappointingly, what every expert in the entire industry have said are the two most important things the government can do: finally introducing strict fuel efficiency standards that make cars cheaper to run, help get better cars to Australia in the first place, as well as rebates to make electric vehicles cheaper for Australians to buy, have not only been left out, but really disappointingly, we see this from the federal government a lot. Rather than saying, look, you've told us this is very important, we acknowledge that, but for one reason or another, we haven't done it, they come out saying, we're actually justified for not doing it in the first place. We're going to ignore all of your advice and pretend like we're doing the right thing by not introducing these things.
Well, the government argues, from its perspective, it doesn't see those sort of subsidies, rebates as value for taxpayer money. What's your view on that?
I'd say you can look right around the world: North America, United States, Canada, European Union, all across Asia, right across the developed world. We're one of the few countries that don't have these incentives in place. So either all of those countries, the G8, the IEA, everyone else is wrong and Angus Scaler and Scott Morrison are right, or the government, frankly, doesn't want to do this, or from what we've heard a bit more, they did see the need for some of these policies, but the Nationalist Party in the room didn't give them permission to move ahead with some of those. And rather than saying, look, we tried, but we're a coalition government, we have these restraints in place, again, they've come out and said, no, you're wrong for asking for them in the first place, even though we know from the success of every other market in the world, they are the measures that work.
Okay, in your view then, what could be the consequences for Australia if there isn't, I guess, as you would like, a more ambitious policy from the government? We know a lot of the big car manufacturers are gradually phasing out the production of internal combustion cars. Where could that leave Australia casting ahead 5, 10, 15 years?
Well, look, certainly there's great uncertainty, and that means that a lot of the opportunities that come with electric vehicles perhaps start to go to other countries in our region. So we've got people looking at investing in things like doing metal refining and electric vehicle battery manufacturing, even electric vehicle manufacturing in our region. And Australia makes a lot of sense. We're the country with all the metals in the ground. We're the first place they often look at. But when you don't have your acts together on these issues, they say, well, maybe we'll go to one of the other countries that's being so forceful and really pushing the advance towards electric vehicles. Certainly for consumers, what they'll see is, and car companies have been very clear about this, of if you don't have these type of policies in place, if you don't have these emission standards in place, well, we sell our most advanced cars, including electric cars, to the countries that do. Okay. And countries that do, quite frankly, is everyone but Australia and Russia in the developed world. So you two can sit behind and you'll be the laggards. You'll be where we offload our older, more inefficient, more expensive to run, heavily polluting vehicles. You'll get electric vehicles eventually, but only after other countries in the world have successfully transitioned and everyone else gets to enjoy them.
Okay, just finally, although to give the Prime Minister some credit, only 3 years ago he, of course, was telling Australians that the Labor Party's then policy of having a set target of cars, electric cars for 2030 would, in his view, end the weekend. So we've at least moved on from that.
Yeah, thank you very much for not saying stupid things about our future technology this time around. Hopefully we can start to sound like sensible adults, unfortunately sensible adults who aren't doing the right things, but we're at least not attacking, for some reason, a technology this year.
Beyhad Jafari from the Electric Vehicles Council, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.